Hi, and welcome to the last chapter in lifestyle management. We're looking at spiritual health. Now, the interest in the spiritual dimension of health and wellness is growing among college and university students. Now, a quest for spirituality can add a richness and depth to our lives. Spirituality can also equate to moral well-being. Now, it offers an invitation in our textbook around health and wellness and how to achieve our personal potential. So let's get started. We're going to begin with, what is spirituality? Well, there's no common definition of spirituality. Many researchers agree that common elements within the dimension of spiritual wellness are things like hope, meaning, purpose in life, connectedness, honesty, compassion, forgiveness, rituals, recognition of what is sacred, transcendent beliefs, and experiences that may include a sense of higher power. Now, as you can imagine, that's a very big and maybe even complex overview of spirituality. But as you can see, none of that mentions specifically a religion or specifically a non-religion. And so spirituality is a big catchpot for a lot of things that include this sort of higher power, this sort of purpose in life. Now, spirituality is a complex term where narrowing down a definition is difficult and maybe even undesirable. Spirituality can generally be seen as being about feeling more complete and fulfilled as a human being. Now, as mentioned, religion sometimes is described as a specific system of belief about a deity, often involving rituals, a code of ethics, and a philosophy of life. Usually represents a special doctrine or a group of people. Now, we'll explore religions further in the second video, part 2 of this chapter. So whether you believe that spirituality is about finding a person's meaning or purpose, that you follow the teachings of a specific religion, even if you might use, for example, Maslow's hierarchy of needs and strive for self-actualization as he would depict. Spirituality is still about feeling more complete and fulfilled as a human being. So being engaged in a pursuit of personal spirituality and your health and general well-being is important and a worthy ambition to get on with and exploring with this topic. And we'll see how this might fit within what you're already considering. The integration of body, mind, and spirit. Now, we often talk about health and wellness as a connection of mind, body, and spirit. And the mind, body, and spirit of health and wellness is inseparable. The key to discovering our spirituality is to understand that our spirit connects us to our body and our mind and others in sharing of our human experience. Now, because this textbook does take a lot from Aboriginal culture, let's look at Aboriginal spirituality. And there's a common belief that the Great Spirit created the earth and its people. There is also a central understanding that the earth is the mother of all life and people. Plants, animals have spirits that must be respected, honored, and cared for. Now, humans are the guardians of earth. Prayers of thanks should be given to the Creator each day for all living things. Now, there's a great value placed on families and extended families. Respect must be shown to all people. Individuals should control their own behavior in considerations of the community in which they live in. Spiritual rituals include healing circles, sweat lodge ceremonies, and powwows. Placed within the ancient symbol of medicine wheel, there are 4 great meanings of the sacred tree. protection, nourishment, growth, and wholeness. Now you can check on page 451 for the story of the sacred tree and the brief description of each of these great meanings. Now in Canada, we have the Métis, and the Métis of Canada have varied religious and spiritual traditions. The Inuit believe that the living things and objects have a spirit and they must be respected. Their belief system is called animism. Okay, now that's just a very, very brief overview, and as what we'll do in much of this will be just that, a brief overview. Spirituality is a very big topic. So let's consider the spiritual dimensions. So consider, how do I begin learning about my spiritual dimension? That's a reasonable question to be asking oneself. To gain greater understanding of our spirituality, you can start by asking yourself these questions. What is my understanding of spirituality? And there's no right and wrong here. It's even an exercise you can do by asking yourself these questions and writing down some free associated thoughts. What am I passionate about? What personal and professional experiences make me feel healthy and well? What kind of a person am I? What kind of a person do I want to be? Now these are reasonable questions to be asking, especially when exploring one's own spirituality, and we may derive an awful lot of answer from this from a religious beliefs we already hold. For some people, that may not be what it is that drives them, and there may be other elements within our own spirituality that don't necessarily seed themselves in a religious belief. So let's explore a little further. You're seeing an image beside me, and in the graphic are 4 domains of spiritual dimension. Now, the interconnectedness, mindfulness, meaning, purpose, and potential, and transcendence, and we're going to review each one of these. We'll begin with interconnectedness. Now, interconnectedness has been defined as a worldview that sees a oneness in all things. So the oneness being this interconnectedness that everything has with everything else. Now with technological advances, the term interconnectedness has taken on a new meaning in global political, social, and ecological terms. And what's essentially meant by that is the interconnectedness isn't just within your own little community and social group, it's extended beyond. And you might be seeing in some of the news the interconnectedness of politics and economics and ecology. Now, interconnectedness can be understood by 2 distinct domains. Connectedness to yourself and the connectedness to others. And let's break them down a little bit and see how they're similar and where they're different. Connectedness to self. Setting aside some time to question who we are and what we want to accomplish can bring richness to our lives and be healthy for us. Now, it's not something we do an awful lot of. There's very few of us who spend even a very small portion of our day or our week or a month self-reflecting about what's important to me, what makes me tick, what do I love, and what loves me back in return. And so when we think in terms of our connectedness to ourself, it's that ability to know ourself. There is no one way to become a spiritual person. You listen to your intuition, your hunches, and you engage in reflective practices. To take a moment, a half an hour every week, to just write, jot down, think about what's important, what makes you tick. What is it that makes you happy? What is it that you want to accomplish in your life? You're in school now. You won't always be in school. You have a goal. But not only is that goal a job or a career, it's about what will that job and career open for you in your life, and what more in your life can you strive for? Can you see yourself achieving 40 years down the road? What is it that you want to see yourself having and doing? Now, the other half of this connectedness coin is connectedness to other people, or connectedness to others. Now, many people can come to believe that all human beings are connected to one another. Now, this oneness is about some people, what some people call, a God. Others call it the universal energy. Some psychologists refer to it connectedness as our consciousness. Ego is our self-centeredness. Ego without consciousness allows us to behave in ways that are not healthy or well. Spiritual dimension can be a vehicle for making our contributions to the world. All right? So, mindfulness. Now, this has been a new catchphrase that has been drawing a lot of attention to people and learning new exercises to enhance one's mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is a process of bringing attention to the moment-by-moment experience. Now, mindfulness may also be, in some respects, related to meditation, where meditation isn't about focus on nothing and focus on everything. It's about allowing things to pass through. Mindfulness is about being aware of the here and now, not thinking about our past and not thinking about our future. In the Buddhist tradition, mindfulness plays an important role in understanding personal suffering. In contemporary counseling and psychology, it's been used to help clients deal with life stress and emotional issues. Mindfulness is considered a form of mental training, similar in a way to meditation, but will focus on the emphasis on taking notice of whatever thoughts come to mind, without judging them or making plans of actions for dealing with them in any capacity. Mindfulness helps us respond to situations in a reflective way versus a reacting way. It helps us become more aware of the here and now. And so by not worrying about the past or the future allows us to just take in what is now and appreciate it for what it is. Don't judge it. Don't critique it. Don't action plan a solution for anything. Just be mindful of the here and now. Now, the third point, meaning, purpose, potential. Meaning, purpose, and potential are connected just like body, mind, and spirit. Searching for meaning or special significance makes us more aware of worthy purposes in our lives. Our worthy purpose might be living in a healthy, in a well way and helping others to do the same. Having a purpose helps us grow and learn about our human potential so that we might express our own personality. Now, for many people, finding meaning, discovering purpose, and realizing potential begins when they integrate the spiritual dimension of health and wellness on a more daily basis. Spirituality, whether based on religious or secular beliefs, allow us to move back and forth from self-reflection to serving others. And sometimes that's where we start to begin to become aware of what is our purpose and what makes us happy. Now, the fourth point is transcendence. Now, moments of transcendence leaves us changed, sometimes in a brief time and sometimes forever. They open us up to possibilities, understanding just what it is that we are meant to do, even for a time, can support an emotional and mental dimension of health and wellness. Transcendence isn't something that we reflect on very much either, but it can be just that epiphany that we go, aha, I know what I'm here for, or I know why I'm doing what it is that I'm doing, and I know what that purpose is. And it might just be for the here and now, but it might be for a lifetime. Transcendence. Okay. Let's look at the relationship between spirituality and health. And there's a growing amount of evidence that suggests that there's a relationship between spirituality, religious involvement, and and better health outcomes. Now, people who identify as religious or spiritual tend to utilize healthcare resources and embrace the concept of self-care. Now, greater religious involvement appears to lower blood pressure and the prevalence of hypertension, having a release and having a means of being more connected. Cancer patients have reported that their religious and spiritual beliefs help them cope with the disease and improve their quality of life. Faith is important for some individuals suffering from emotional turmoil, recovering from mental illness issues, or dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. It can be a big lift and opportunity to sort of be lifted. Now, spirituality and nature. Spirituality-motivated environmentalism can help us understand and take responsibility for our human impact on nature. Now, many people are discovering that an attachment to the land and nature contributes to their health and wellness. Going for a walk and enjoying the smell of flowers and the environment of trees and the must of the ground on a rainy day. This can all contribute to our health and wellness. Perhaps what is missing in our environment planning process is a spiritual dimension. With a sense of spiritual connectedness to nature, you move from managing our environment to caring for our environment. Now that, of course, relates to our previous chapter and the relationship that we have within our environment. Now, what we started to see is more spirituality on campuses, and there's been this move in some academic institutions to integrate body, mind, and spiritual wellness into campus life. Whether that be, in providing opportunities, or students who engage in spirituality enhancing practices appear to be participating in more variety of campus activities. Students who view campus culture or climate outside the class time as supportive to their social and non-academic needs report a deepened sense of spirituality. Now, more studies are beginning to show a relationship between spirituality, health beliefs, and health behaviors in college and university students. And so we can see, there's a growing interest in spirituality. And again, I can only emphasize, spirituality and religious beliefs aren't necessarily the same, but then neither are they so dramatically different. And seeing that there's a greater interest in student populations is encouraging. And what we'll do in part 2, this is the end of part 1, what we're going to do in part 2 is look at the 12 modern day classical religions that exist, certainly in Canada, and it does not and will not be a comprehensive view, okay? So good luck, everybody. It's a good start. We're almost done. This has been part 1 of chapter 17. Bye now.